YouTube, man? It's your boy, man, Jay Willie Silly, man, aka Mr. Take It Easy for you ends up like Beezy, man. Make sure y'all follow my Twitch, man. Subscribe to my second channel. Everything you need to know about your boy Jay Take It Easy for you end up like Beezy is in the description down below. But we will not be going live on Twitch tonight, you know, for no apparent reason. I just felt like doing YouTube today. But y'all, we are at 7.2K followers on Twitch, man. I genuinely appreciate all my new subscribers, and for my new viewers, y'all highly appreciate it. Like I said, I am humble enough to admit that I am nothing without you, bro. So I appreciate y'all, bro, for sitting down and actually watching the vids, man. You know what I'm saying? I actually genuinely appreciate that, you know what I mean? But hey, I'm gonna keep it real. I believe in miracles, you know, just because I believe in the miracle, that doesn't mean it's gonna happen. But hey, you know, why not believe? You know what I'm saying? Why not believe? Why not want the victory? You know what I'm saying? So nah, man, I believe I can hit 10,000. You feel me? Before this year end, I'm at 7.2K right now. I believe we can make some miracle happen. If it doesn't happen, it just wasn't meant to happen. But best believe we're finna hit 10,000 sooner or later. But yeah, man, Twitch going up every single day. I feel like, bro, that's mostly where I'm at. That's why I changed my name to Jay Willie Silly Live, bro, because most of my uploads, bro, come from Twitch. You know, except for this one, bro. It's rare that I actually, you know, do a YouTube video. But anyways, man, for all my new subscribers and for all my new viewers, if y'all want to go watch all of my movie reactions, you know what I'm saying, it is in a playlist section over yonder, man. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all I am a very organized person. So me being an organized person translates, excuse me, to YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't want you. You know, I got over 2,000 some videos, bro. I genuinely just do not want you to just scroll and just try to look for certain videos, bro. Because I promise you, you know, it's gonna take you years. You know what I mean? So, you know, I got everything jumbled up in the playlist section for you, bro. True crime, movie reactions, cartel reactions. You know, whatever you want to see is in the playlist section. You know, but we got the complete history of Pennywise. You know what I mean? Horror history, and then word on the street, they are coming out with a new It, you know, but it is genuinely interesting. I just did a video about the history of Valak from The Conjuring. It is genuinely interesting, man, you know, knowing about these characters. I did another video about Vecna from Stranger Things, bro. It's just, I learned so much about the characters, you know what I mean? So it made me understand, like, okay, so this is why this happened. This is why that happened, you know? So it just made me, I just like understanding the history behind people and characters, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to know why did, who was Pennywise before he became Pennywise, you know what I'm saying? Why does Pennywise do such things, you know what I'm saying? So knowing the history about a person and a character has always been interesting to me, bro.
If you want to know how Pennywise lived on after the events of It, then stick around to the end of this video.
Pennywise, man, why you so evil, man? Why you want to torment kids, man?
Hello and welcome to Horror History.
Pennywise make me not like clowns.
Also known as Shaggy, also known as Emo Abraham Lincoln. And in
Shaggy,
we'll be discussing one of Stephen King's most iconic
you do look like Shaggy, bro.
Monsters. Pennywise, also known as It, also known as the Deadlights.
I cannot stand Pennywise. I can't stand
Pennywise, also known as It, also known as the Deadlights, also known as Robert Gray. Stephen King hasn't really gone on record about his inspirations for It, causing some to believe that the events of the 1986 novel actually happened. On the other hand, actual intelligent people drew comparisons to a serial killer, John Wayne Gacy, a
John Wayne Gacy,
Chicago during the 1970s, who did unspeakable things.
Unspeakable things, man. If y'all do not know who John Wayne Gacy is, he was a serial killer who murdered children, and the children that he murdered buried them under his house. You know, did the most despicable things to children. You know what I'm saying? No matter the color, no matter the shade. He did a lot of, bro, it was crazy. John Wayne Gacy, man.
to more than 30 victims. He would later stash the kids in the crawl space of his basement, not so different from Pennywise's penchant for dragging his victims' corpses into the sewers below Derry, Maine. Pennywise in the movie is depicted as one of the forms of a shape-shifting creature known as It, who resided in a lair at the bottom of Derry's sewage system for hundreds of years. But in the novel, it's much more than that. So let's travel back to the inception of It over 1 billion years ago.
Let's go back. I gotta know about Pennywise. Pennywise a mother effer, man.
There was an endless void known as the Macroverse, which was inhabited only by a celestial force referred to as the Other. The Other created 2 additional inhabitants of the Macroverse, one protector called Maturin the Turtle, and one shape-shifting entity called the Deadlights. The 2 would become natural enemies. The Turtle was kind and all-knowing, but did not like to involve itself in any conflicts, and so stayed hidden in its shell most often. At some point, the Turtle came out of its shell with a stomachache and vomited out our universe. So everything you're sitting in right now, yeah, that's actually puke. Everything you've eaten today, I think you get the idea. Speaking of which, its main form of sustenance is fear.
I'll take all of you. Yes, I'll feast on your flesh as I feed on your fear.
Because of that fact, it's traveled to our universe to look for food, much like how I may travel to Taco Bell when I'm done filming this. A couple thousand or possibly even million years ago, it's discovered Earth. Earth was basically like a buffet for it because humans have much more complex imaginations than any species it had discovered before. Specifically, the imaginations of human children were especially attractive to it because they were capable of an unprecedented level of fear. It arrived on Earth as a fiery meteoric object that crashed into the land in North America that would one day become known as the Barrens in Derry, Maine. The impact scared away the animal inhabitants such as antelope, fish, bats, and others. The impact crater was devastating, but the area would be taken back by trees and wildlife over the years. The impact also sent it into a deep sleep, possibly aided by the fact that it became trapped in the Ice Age. In the year 1715, it would thaw out and arise from this slumber, thus marking the beginning of the cycle that would repeat roughly every 27 years, where it would awaken to feed on the residents of Derry, not too different than how some mammals may eat and then go into hibernation during the winter. These incidents would often go unrecorded in Derry's history books, but that hasn't stopped locals from doing some of their own research. The earliest known victims of it were a party of 340 settlers called the Derry Company, named after the town in Ireland from which they hailed. They started to create a civilization along the Kenduskeag River, and Derry Township became a logging town.
Still is, am I right, boys?
In 1743, every single settler disappeared without trace or explanation.
The entire camp? There are rumors of Indians, but no sign of an attack.
The town was left deserted, other than one single house that burned down in the same spot where Georgie Denbrough would be killed 300 years later. I'm guessing all of these settlers were eaten by it because she had taken such a long nap after crashing on Earth and probably woke up especially hungry. Shortly after Derry Township was rediscovered, the town was reestablished, and the canal was built for easy access to the Kenduskeag River. It seems to be about this time that it starts experimenting with using the form of a clown. A picture from Will Hanlon's album, dated to the 1700s, shows a funny-looking man juggling bowling pins on the street near the canal. He wasn't wearing makeup, but he did have the recognizable tufts of hair. The next known event is in 1851, which is 4 27-year cycles after the disappearance of the settlers. It targeted a man named John Markson, likely using the power of the Deadlights to possess him and do his bidding. It seems that humans who looked directly into the Deadlights are put into a trance-like state where they're controlled by it. John poisoned his entire family, then killed himself with a white nightshade mushroom.
I'm saying, bro, it is not a bro. This man right here, boy. If I seen Pennywise, boy. But see, I gotta get off the screen. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like he's looking at me, gang. Like, it's just something about Pennywise that creeped me the freak out, bro. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm a scary fanatic, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just something about Pennywise, bro. I don't know what the freak it is about that man, bro.
John poisoned his entire family, then killed himself with a white nightshade mushroom. Keep in mind that having someone else
look at him, look.
Benefit it directly, but what it does do is instill fear in everyone involved.
There's something about
making them more delicious meals for Pennywise. It's basically the equivalent of putting those little sauce packets on your taco. In 1856, the clown's image appears in a political cartoon.
Now I can't lie, you know what I'm saying? Taco Bell, bro. Like, I don't eat too much fast food. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a grocery store type of dude. I usually go get my things from the grocery store, Kroger's, Publix, and whatnot, you know. But I'm not gonna lie. I know Taco Bell isn't really real, but golly, Taco Bell do be smacking. I'm not gonna lie. You feel me? Taco Bell do be smacking though. On my easy.
some drunken loggers at a
Take
bar.
it
This illustration seems
easy.
to predict the next cycle, which begins in 1877 when 4 separate lynchings took place in town and carries in to 1879. Derry's logging business was really booming at that time.
Well, Pennywise is causing havoc right now.
Finding them completely hacked to pieces. Like a bear coming out of hibernation, it would continue to come out every 27 years or so to cause mayhem and feed on the residents of Derry. The next cycle was especially bloody. Coming up next, we'll go into the horrifying archives produced by it in the early 1900s. I had a ton of people participate in.
Holy crap. Oh, heck no. Jump ahead, jump ahead, jump ahead. Okay, shoot.
In 1891, an ironworks is built in Derry by the Kitchener family, and an article about the opening of this facility is featured in the paper. The front page photograph shows a crowd gathering to celebrate the cutting of the ribbon, and off to the left of the crowd, a clown can be seen celebrating with a handspring. This would be a precursor to one of Derry's deadliest events that took place at the end of this cycle. But first, there was a major incident that took place shortly after its reawakening in September of 1905. The logging business in Derry had become big enough that people started to organize unions, and one of these organizers was named Claude Hero. He and 3 colleagues were staying in a hotel in Derry, and during this stay, the colleagues turned up dead in the Kenduskeag River, with missing body parts and the word union pasted on each of their bags. It's unclear if this was the result of Pennywise's actions or if it was just legitimately unhappy workers, but Hero, in an act of revenge, took an axe to a bar called the Silver Dollar and took out the loggers that he thought were responsible. That night, the townspeople rioted. After Hero's arrest, they dragged him out of his jail cell and lynched him on the side of town. One witness mentioned there was a guy doing tricks and flips who he assumed was new in town, but noted that he seemed to stick around after that. This highlights one of the major strengths of Pennywise. Other than fabulous gymnastic skills, it has the ability to divide people and turn them against each other. It would later attempt to use this tactic on the Losers Club after Eddie Kasprak suffers a broken arm, but their strong unity ends up working as an advantage to them. But before we get there, there's a lot more of Pennywise's history in Derry to cover. In 1906, an unexplained slew of animal mutilations takes place. These are most likely connected to it. Now, sometimes when you've just eaten tacos and you're a little hungry still, you say, you know what, I'm gonna grab a big burrito, maybe some nachos, and a large soft drink for the road. And that's basically what Pennywise did before going back into hibernation. On Easter of 1906, the previously mentioned ironworks held an Easter egg hunt for all of the kids in Derry, during which the place exploded.
88 children.
Dead,
oh my
88
God.
of which were children. At this point, it's very clear.
Why
that,
Pennywise,
A,
bro?
There's a problem
Why, bro?
in Derry, and B, it's occurring on a 27-year cycle.
Why you so
although
freaking
only a
evil,
select number of
gang?
Derry historians are aware
A
of it,
freak
because
boy?
Pennywise has actively used its power to ensure that these disasters
I'll slap the taste out of Pennywise.
Took place from their
No, I won't. No, I won't. No, I won't. Hey, 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 hey. No, I will not. You know what I mean? Pennywise, do what you do, right? You know what I mean? Just, you know, ignore, you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Do what you do. Just don't come over here, all right? Because a gun ain't gonna work with Pennywise. I ain't gonna lie to 40. That 40 ain't working on Pennywise. You know what I'm saying? But nah, no, man. Just do what you do.
on out were largely ignored by the older townspeople
Jesus
who were starting to become
Nazareth.
despondent and preferred to ignore the problems rather than acknowledge them. It starts to feel like Derry is just cursed with random acts of violence, but there's no doubt that it is behind them. In 1929, a huge group of citizens gunned down the notorious Bradley gang, and several witnesses were said to have seen a clown participate in the brutal shooting. Probably looked like something out of The Dark Knight, minus the school bus. Each of the witnesses to the Bradley gang execution claimed that the clown had the same gun as their own, though none of them shared the same gun. In 1930 was the first confirmed sighting of one of the other recurring forms of it. The giant bird that would later attack Michael Hanlon was first spotted 28 years beforehand by his father, Will Hanlon. This happened the night of the horrible attack on the Black Spot nightclub, in which a racist organization known as the Legion of White Decency burned down the popular African-American run jazz joint, and the place collapsed before dozens of people had the chance to escape. Just after narrowly making it out, Will looked up and saw a giant bird with red balloons tied to its wings, a detail he kept to himself until he was on his deathbed. From here on, Will knew that Derry was no ordinary town, but he would never fully understand that it was responsible, like his son would one day find out. The following year, one of the worst floods in town history occurred. This flood was almost as bad as the flood that occurred in my comment section that one time when I had the wrinkly shirt, and this flood uncoincidentally took place during one of Pennywise's waking years. Stephen King doesn't specifically note when the sewer system that runs under Derry was built.
Look, man, just look, and I have to say this about you, bro. Dude, do not worry about what people say, bro. You know, you're looking at comment sections. I'm telling you, bro. It's just words of advice, and you could be watching this. You could not, bro. I'm telling you, bro. I have not once paid attention to your shirt, bro. Know what I'm saying? Your videos are excellento, bro. I'm gonna tell you this if you're watching this. Your videos are mad entertaining. I don't just react to anybody. You know what I mean? So shout out to you, bro. You know what I mean? But one thing you gotta understand about people, bro, people gonna find anything to talk about, bro. You gotta understand, bro. They're hiding behind most of these people, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Don't look too shabby themselves. At least we have the courage, bro, to show ourselves. You know what I'm saying? These people are behind a user account, bro. You know, they're not showing themselves. They don't have no profile picture or nothing, bro. You just can't care. I just feel like, bro, and that's what everybody, if you look at people's comments, bro, if you look at the comment section about your Instagram or your YouTube, you care what people think. Don't try to tell yourself that you do not. Because if you do not care what people think, you're not going to even look at it. You're not going to pay it no mind. That's exactly what I do. When I'm done with this video, you think I'm finna look at the comment section? No. I don't care the good. I say it all the time. I don't care about what the good people say about me. I don't care about the bad you say about me. I could care less about what people think at all. So all that, bro, you showing the comment, bro. Just my advice to you, bro. I'm telling you, you will be happier, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you just would not look at the comment section at all, bro. Hey, people just want to find something. People are going to find something to say about you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter. Talking about iron your shirt. It doesn't matter, bro. Guess what they going to do? You're getting money off of them. You're getting paid off them. Cares about what they think, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got to let them feel like I feel like viewers are important. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like, bro, you know, some of y'all just, I don't know. Like when they, I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just got to understand, bro, that, you know, yeah, us content creators, you know what I'm saying, are nothing without y'all, most definitely. You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking to the people who are haters. I'm speaking to the people who are negative. You know, you got to talk to these people like that. Like, bro, we're the true winners, bro, not you. You know what I'm saying? Like imagine speaking bad about somebody. Imagine speaking negative about somebody, but still continue to watch them and thinking you're winning. If that's not delusional, I don't know what it is. Like, imagine doing that. For all the supporters, I love you, bro. I'm not talking about you. I'm speaking about the haters and the negative people. Imagine speaking bad about somebody and watch them every day and constantly think you're doing something. You know, it's just hilarious to me, bro. So, bro, who cares about your shirt, bro? Your videos are amazing, bro, and I promise you, all of them watch you every day. They watch you every day, bro. You're their favorite content creator, bro.
There's a good
It's just people being people, bro. You can't look at them type of things.
Based on when certain laws went into effect in real life, that this was around the time
F people, bro.
in the book.
Come on, bro.
Systems may have been implemented to keep water levels from overflowing to prevent another disastrous flood. They would inadvertently become the home of Pennywise.
That's how you gotta think, bro.
Deep within the sewers of Derry.
Look at all these children he killed.
Sightings of Pennywise the dancing clown are all connected to the drain system. Whether it be a creepy voice echoing from a drain, a glowing yellow pair of eyes emanating in a sewer grate, or a mysterious red balloon floating around in a runoff pipe.
There's been another murder. Little Velma Daniels.
Velma Daniels?
Her poor body was found this morning down by the canal. So if you come down here to play, come together like you are now, understand?
Another image in Will Hanlon's photo album shows the celebration at Wally's Spa in 1933, when the U.S. alcohol prohibition ends. The group photo contains many men holding up beer mugs and Pennywise drinking champagne from a high-heeled shoe in the corner. Pennywise continues to make appearances throughout Derry's history. For example, in 1945, when Japan surrendered to end World War II, a parade is held in Derry to celebrate, and in one photograph, the clown can be seen dancing around in the background. In the 50s, Pennywise would bring the same photo to life to terrorize the Losers Club, but that is just one of the many events that took place after the tragic incident involving Georgie Denbrough in 1957. Coming up, we'll be analyzing one of the darkest cycles in the history of Derry, and the reasons behind this particular spree being cut short.
Well, Pennywise been terrorizing since the 1700s. Jesus of Nazareth.
1957. Naturally, as
Jesus.
Georgie Denbrough wanted to go out and play in it. He suited up in his yellow rain jacket and asked his big brother Bill to make him a paper boat.
There you go.
Noah from Stranger Things?
Gutter in the Derry Public Works drain system, which was managed by his father, Zach Denbrough. Then the boat began to pick up speed, and not wanting to lose it, little Georgie raced after, not knowing that he was rushing into
Georgie's finna die.
He was unable to grab his boat before it washed into the sewer grate, where a man in clown makeup introduced himself as Mr. Robert Gray, otherwise known as Pennywise the
dancing clown.
Pennywise did not immediately become aggressive, first befriending Georgie and tempting him to reach into the grates to get his boat. This is the very reason that the shape-shifting It so often opted to use the clown form, Pennywise, because most children love clowns, or at least they did before these came out. Today, he would probably have to take the form of some Fortnite YouTuber or something, but he would use the form of Pennywise to lure children in, because children have the most active imaginations and so make the richest meals for it. Once he has drawn them in, he brings out his pulsing eyes and razor-sharp teeth and devours them while they are most afraid. Again, much like I do when I'm devouring my tacos.
That boy love Taco Bell.
Young Georgie, who was the first of a whole slew of deaths and disappearances at the hand of It. The next was Betty Ripsum in December of 1957. Pennywise spoke to her through the drain in her home to make her more afraid before attacking and leaving her body ripped apart near Outer Jackson Street.
Don't tell me that.
Whose sneaker is it? It's Betty Ripsum's.
Betty's screams continued to echo through the drains and haunt her parents for the rest of this waking cycle. The next month, when school is back in session, Ben Hanscom sees the clown standing on the ice as he walks over the canal bridge, and Pennywise entices him to come down into the sewers with the prospect of balloons, the promise of never growing up, and making it seem like the sewers are basically a fun fair. A hand reaches up onto the bridge, and Ben recognizes it as the mummy from the horror movie The Mummy, but wearing a clown suit. Ben is able to escape, but the same cannot be said for Cheryl LaMonica, who falls victim to Pennywise that April. Then, towards late April, 3-year-old Matthew Clements is abducted by Pennywise while riding his tricycle around the house, causing the police chief to put a curfew into effect. Before the end of that spring, Mike Hanlon rides his bike to the remains of the ironworks that exploded in 1906, where he is attacked by a giant bird who rises out of the cellar hole and swoops in to try to pick him up. This is the same bird that his father saw after the Black Spot fire, and combines Mike's fear of birds from when he was attacked in his crib as a baby and the fear instilled in him the night before by the movie Rodan. Reminds me of the sound my 8th grade English teacher used to use if he didn't have proper MLA format. Mike is able to escape by cramming himself into the remains of the smokestack where the bird couldn't fit and pelting it with tiles that were laying around. Mike feels like some kind of force was helping him throw the tiles harder, which I believe may have been the turtle. It was also around this time that Stan Uris had his encounter with it. He had been birdwatching in the park near the Standpipe, a water reservoir that some kids had drowned in the 1930s. He hears a loud noise and realizes that the door at the base of the Standpipe had been blown open. He walks over to investigate.
There they go. There they go.
Echoing through the dark.
There go white people. There go white people for you, bro. I'm telling you, white people gonna investigate. That's one thing that they gonna do. They gonna investigate. Hey, they gonna. What's that? What is that, dude? What did I hear coming from the pipe? I have to go check it out. I just have to.
Calls out to ask who's there and gets the response
Look at him.
of the dead ones. Before he escapes, he sees the figures of the drowned kids with purplish black jeans and orange pom-pom buttons. Stan's friend Eddie Kasprak has a similar experience with it. Eddie would sometimes play around the train yard, and one day, a hobo with leprosy climbs out from under the porch of an abandoned old house, number
Get up, man.
Street. Eddie is a hypochondriac, so this has a major effect on him. It uses this fact to her advantage when coming up with a form to scare Eddie. One day, Eddie decides to check under the porch to make sure nobody's waiting for him in there and sees it in the form similar to the hobo, but now crawling with disease.
Oh, man.
The leper introduces himself as Bob Gray and crawls out from under the porch to chase Eddie away. Despite these 4 victims escaping, Pennywise would continue to haunt them in their dreams. One night, when Eddie is going to bed, he hears the leper whistle, "It won't do any good to run." Then, at the beginning of the summer, Ben has this dream where he's playing baseball and he hits a home run. As he's rounding the bases, he sees a clown waving to him in the trees. He doesn't remember the rest of the dream, but he wakes up with a wet
Pennywise
weeping through the night. It is doing everything in its power to instill fear in these members of the Losers Club who escaped on the first attempt. But what would take place later that summer would take things to a level never before seen in Derry's history.
Yeah, this is crazy right here. I ain't gonna lie. I think this is way crazier than Valak from The Conjuring.
Ever since the death of his younger brother Georgie, Bill Denbrough has been having a lot of disturbing thoughts. In June of 1958, Bill would go into Georgie's room to look at his photo album, and under the influence of it, Georgie's school photo winks at Bill and tells him, "See you soon." Bill drops the book and blood drips out of the pages, but Bill's parents would not be able to see the blood like the kids of Derry can. This kicks off Pennywise's busiest month yet. Another boy goes missing, this one named Edward Corcoran. Edward was fleeing from his abusive father and decided to sleep in the park by the canal where somebody grabs his ankle. It takes on the form of Edward's dead brother, Dorsey. When Edward ran, it took the form of the creature from the Black Lagoon. The last thing he sees is the creature's eyes going white and a light leaking through the fins on its head. This was most likely Edward attempting to process the deadlights. Shortly after, Mike Hanlon finds Edward's knife near the spot that he died. He hears a splash come from the canal and sees something moving inside of the pipe. Mike runs away, but he has a feeling that someone is chasing him all the while. He would go on to share his experiences with the rest of the Losers Club, who would also explain their encounters. When Bill tells the story of his encounter with Georgie's photo book, Richie Tozier says that he wants to see the album as well. So Bill takes him over there, only to discover that Georgie's school photo is missing from the book. Instead, there's a photo of Old Derry somewhere near the canal, and Bill and Richie see themselves as a couple of sailors on the sidewalk. The picture begins to move, and Pennywise pops out of the canal, but he has the face of Georgie. See, these deepfakes are getting way too good. Oh wait, wrong century. At this point, the real Bill Denborough reaches into the photo before Richie pulls his arm back out to safety and closes the book. Bill's
bro's finna get eaten through a photo.
Final confrontation with Pennywise.
Pennywise coming through photos now.
Been the ones to directly confront Pennywise. An important distinction is that they
smack the taste out of Pennywise's mouth.
The only two who are willing to
oh
take
my
the fights.
Goodness, what is
this?
This
also marks the first time that Richie starts to realize that it is a monster with supernatural properties rather than physical ones. Bill and Richie would once again take the fight to Pennywise's domain when they decide to go to 29 Neibolt Street to investigate Eddie's story about the leper.
Oh, you're tweaking.
The basement, and this time it takes the form of the teenage werewolf that Richie saw when he and a few others went to the movie theater. I feel like I would just start laughing if my worst fear just kept turning into these cheesy 50s horror movies. I mean, I can just imagine, oh no, please don't kill me, and then the monster turns into like this guy. I'd be cracking up, but I'm pretty sure it was scary at the time. Bill brings his father's gun, but what ends up
I wouldn't be cracking up.
Is Richie screaming at it?
But you're white, so I get it, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, y'all have an interesting sense of humor, so you know, I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep saying it. White people are very interesting to me. They're very interesting. I mean, be real, like y'all have this type of, I don't know, y'all have this type of, I don't know. I'm gonna just, I mean, it's not, you're crazy. I'm gonna just keep it real, like, you know, the most adventurous and the most fearless people I know. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go towards danger. Y'all are the danger. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, you heard what he said, man. I was just crack up, man, if I just seen that this would turn into this, right? I don't know, man. It would just be funny to me. I'll just be cracking up, man, you know? You know, the whole time we'd be like, ah! You know, that's how we would react, you know what I'm saying? But them cracking up, you know? You know, we hear something suspicious. We're gonna go now. I just heard something coming from over yonder, so yeah, I think we're gonna go. That's how we react. White people, dude, did you hear that? Dude, it came from over yonder. I don't know, man. I gotta check that out. They go towards the danger. They go towards the sounds. We run away from the sounds. Any normal person run away from the sound. White people, dude, I gotta go check that out, dude. I cannot live. I cannot, like, function right if I don't know what the freak that is, dude. I have to go check it out, dude. I have to, dude. I have to.
Cop voice and throwing sneezing powder back at it. This is because it.
What if someone needs our help?
Just as their fear of it makes them juicier targets, their confidence and childish humor can be used to fight back.
As I'm trying to tell you, look, if you're in a dangerous situation, I need you to look around your group. Make sure it's nothing but brothers around. Make sure it's Chinese. It can be Chinese. It can be Asian. It can be anybody. If you have a white person in your group, you need to tell him to leave immediately. Hey, look, you're not needed. You know, I'm just saying, you got to tell them to leave. They're going to get you killed, man. They're not afraid of nothing. We need scary people in this group because scary people seems to stay alive. Brave people, fearless people do not survive. You're brave and you're fearless? Nah. We need scared people in this situation. You know, so yeah, you got to look around, okay? Chinese, Asian, black, white, you got to go. Got to go. You're going to get us killed, man. You know, you're just being real. And they know it. Y'all know it, too. Jay's talking about me, man. He's talking about me.
He's fighting it with the strongest weapon.
Like, Jay, man, what you mean? We're not that bad, dude. We're not that bad.
As they ride away on Bill's bike, the clown comes after them wearing the same Derry High School jacket that the werewolf had on moments before. It's not really clear in the book if he's also wearing the clown suit or if he's just naked under the jacket. Actually, I think I'll just try not to think about it. When they look back later, Pennywise has disappeared, presumably taking refuge in the storm. As we get into late June, Pennywise claims a new victim, Veronica Grogan, a 4th grader at the Niebolt Church Street School. Veronica would be one of the voices that Beverly Marsh hears coming out of her drain later that week, along with the other victims like Matthew Clements and Betty Ripsom. The drain spouts blood at her, but like the blood from Jordy's album, her father is unable to see it. It tells Beverly that she'll die if she tries to fight, and then the sink erupts with blood once again. The last incident of June occurs when Richie Tozier is fleeing from some bullies and dips into the park at City Center, where there's a statue of Paul Bunyan to commemorate Derry's beginnings as a logging town. The statue comes to life and stares Richie in the face, threatening to eat him. Moments after he runs for it, Paul Bunyan destroys the bench that Richie had just been sitting on with his giant axe. At the time, Richie chalks this up to being some kind of bizarre dream, but he would later realize that this was one of the many forms of it. Not much happens in the first couple days of July, outside of Eddie Kasprak momentarily having a vision of a piranha wearing orange pom-pom buttons while playing in the Barrens. The slow period is likely because it is preparing to feast on a day when Derry's children would be out in droves. July 4th, also known as American Independence Day. Kind of a shame that it didn't go with Cinco de Mayo instead though. It would have been perfect for this taco analogy I've got going on. July 4th would be the first time that Mike saw it in the form of Pennywise. He was playing in the marching band where he saw the clown handing out balloons to kids on the streets. The sight of Pennywise waving at him gave him a similar feeling to the encounter with the bird. Then, later on up the hill, he saw Pennywise again and wondered how he could have gotten there so quickly. This time, some of the kids he was handing balloons to were crying, and again, Mike got a bad feeling as he recognized this as the same clown from all of those old photos in his father's album. It was most likely on this day that it claimed the life of young Jimmy Cullum, and the rain would later push his body into the sunlight 2 days later on July 6th. He was eventually found with peck wounds all over his body, something that Mike would connect to his encounter with the bird. Jimmy would be the last random victim of it that summer. From this point on, it would exclusively go after Bill Denbrough and his gang of misfits, or Henry Bowers and his gang of bullies.
Holy crap. So that right there is part 1 of the complete history of Pennywise. It's part 1. We would do part 2 tomorrow. You know what I mean? So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? I got other videos I got to upload, bro. I'm kind of on a late schedule right now, 4:21 a.m. But I promise you more movie reactions coming soon. It's your boy Jay, man. Take it easy before you end up like Beezy, man. Your boy Jay out, man. Yeah.